Hello, everyone. When you run long distances, people like to make fun of you because they think you're weird. And even more so when you're a middle-aged woman who decides to run a marathon. That was what happened to the protagonist of our story today. She heard all sorts of mocking comments from her colleagues. They said things like, "Oh, she's too old to be running that. She'll probably drop out after a few miles or end up in a hospital with a heart attack." But their mockery only made her even more determined to prove them wrong. Her name was Laura, and she had just turned 50. She wasn't new to running. She had completed several half marathons in the past. But this time it would be different. This time she was determined to go further than any race before. So she began training. She woke up early, went to bed late. All she did was work, eat, and train. Every morning she got up at 5:30 a.m., ran 20 miles, then got ready for work and sat at her computer. When she returned home in the evening, she would cook dinner for her husband and children, then go back out to train again. In the beginning, her family didn't really support her. Her husband constantly criticized her and told her she should be spending more time with the family and less time running. But Laura ignored him and continued her training. After all, this was something she wanted to accomplish for herself. A month later, she was ready. On the big day, she put on her running shoes and stood at the starting line. The marathon route was 26.2 miles through the city center and along the river. As the starting gun fired and the crowd began to thin, Laura started her steady jog. She had planned everything down to the last detail. She knew exactly how fast she could run and for how long she could maintain that pace. For the first few miles, she kept an easy pace, then gradually increased it. As the kilometers passed, her body began to ache, but she pressed on. There were times when she thought about giving up, but then she remembered the faces of her husband and children. She imagined their disappointment if she quit, so she dug deep inside herself and pulled out whatever strength she had left. By the time she reached the 20th mile, she was exhausted, both physically and mentally. Her legs felt heavy as lead, and each step was a torment. However, she still had 6 more miles to go. With great effort, she raised her head and began to run faster. She had found a second wind. Just 1 more mile and she would break the 25-mile barrier. Although her body was screaming in protest, Laura picked up her pace. Another mile, and suddenly she saw the finish line. With a surge of adrenaline, she crossed the line and collapsed on the ground. Laura had finished the marathon, but she was in terrible pain. Her legs buckled under her, her head spun, and she could barely see. Medical staff rushed over and carried her away on a stretcher. They examined her and told her she had pushed herself too hard. "You're lucky you didn't have a heart attack," one of them said. Laura smiled weakly and replied, "I don't think I could have done it if I wasn't too old." The doctors laughed and admitted her to the hospital. When her family arrived, they were shocked by what they saw. Laura was lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to various machines. Her husband immediately burst into tears and asked how this could have happened. "How could you let this happen?" He shouted at the doctors. "Are you trying to kill her? Do you have no other patients to attend to?" But the doctor remained calm and explained to him that Laura had simply pushed herself too hard and nothing serious had happened. He also warned her husband not to yell at her, since she needed rest to recover. "She's very lucky that nothing serious happened to her. But even so, she needs to spend 2 days under observation. Then we'll see whether she can go home or has to stay longer," the doctor said. After he left, her husband approached Laura's bed and began to scold her. "What did you do? Why did you push yourself so hard? You know you're not young anymore. You could have suffered a heart attack or worse," he yelled at her. But Laura calmly looked at him and said, "I'm sorry. I wanted to show you that I'm still capable of great things. I know I'm not getting any younger, but that doesn't mean I'm incapable of doing anything. I just wanted to prove to myself that I'm still strong, that I can do things that only young people are supposed to be able to do." Her husband was speechless. He had never seen his wife so determined, and he realized that he could unstop her from doing what she wanted. It wasn't his place to do so. He hugged her and apologized for not supporting her. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to criticize you. I just got scared. Please forgive me," he whispered. Laura nodded and smiled. "It's okay, dear, I understand. Now, let's forget about it. I need my sleep." 2 days passed in the blink of an eye, and Laura was eager to return home. She missed her family and, above all, her beloved dog, whom she hadn't seen in 2 days. When the doctor told her she could go home, she practically ran out of the hospital. As soon as she opened the door, she heard her son's voice. "Mom, you're back. How are you feeling?" he asked. Laura smiled. "Much better now that I'm home. How was I supposed to focus on recovering when I was stuck in that stuffy hospital room?" she joked. Her son laughed and went to open the door for her. "Come in, Mom. We were all worried sick about you." Dad was especially worried. He wouldn't stop pacing around the house, he said, laughing. Laura nodded, understanding. "I know. Tell him I'm fine now, and I want to spend the day resting," she replied. All her family gathered in the living room to welcome her. Even her husband, who had been working in the garden, came in to check on her. Laura could tell by the look in his eyes that he was still worried about her, but he was also very happy to see her back home. "How are you feeling, love?" he asked gently. "Much better now that I'm home. Don't worry, I'm fine," she reassured him. He nodded slowly, still a bit worried, but obviously very proud of her. "I'm glad you're back home. Now let's leave you alone to rest. We'll leave you some food in case you get hungry," her daughter said. And together they left the room. As soon as the door closed, Laura smiled and took out her phone. She had received dozens of messages from friends and acquaintances congratulating her on completing the marathon. Some of the people who had made fun of her had even sent her messages asking her to keep going until the end. Now she had proven them wrong. She was healthy, even if a bit sore. She had finished the marathon, and that was all that mattered. In the coming weeks, Laura recovered fully and got back into her daily routine. She was happy with herself because she had accomplished something she had never thought possible. She had faced her fears, overcome them, and achieved her goal. It had been tough, but the satisfaction of knowing that she had done something great made her feel alive. From that day on, no one dared to mock her again. Everyone knew that she was a true warrior, and that she deserved all the respect. Many people believe that age is just a number, but in reality, it marks a person's life with the passage of time. People get older, slower, and weaker. Therefore, when Laura decided to run a marathon at the age of 50, everyone thought she was crazy, but she didn't care what others thought of her. She just wanted to prove to herself that she could do it, and that's exactly what she did. Not only did she complete the marathon, but she did it in record time, surprising everyone. This story teaches us that no matter how old we are, we're always capable of achieving our goals. If we set our minds to it, nothing is impossible. All we need is determination, willpower, and a lot of love for what we do. Laura loved running, and that's why she was able to complete the marathon despite her age. She didn't care what people said about her, or how much pain she was in. She just kept going until she reached the finish line. This is an example for all of us who feel like giving up when things get tough. Laura didn't just prove to the world that she was capable of achieving her goal. She also proved to herself that she was a strong and determined woman who didn't let anything stand in her way. She showed us that age is just a number, and that we're only limited by the beliefs we have about ourselves. So if you ever feel like giving up, remember Laura's story and keep going until you reach your finish line.